against this nomination. Joining me now, Representative Krishnamoorthi. He's a Democrat from Illinois and a member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence with John Ratcliffe. Congressman, good to see you again. This one's tricky. Just put aside John Ratcliffe for a second. There's a guy, he's a guy who's going to have trouble getting confirmed. There are Republicans who have serious concerns, and we can talk in a minute about what the reasons for those concerns are. However, he's actually going to have trouble getting confirmed. The president's other guy who he put into place, Richard Grenell, is also widely thought to be not qualified to be the director of national intelligence, but he can only keep the job until March 11th. Unless Ratcliffe doesn't get nominated anytime soon, in which case Grenell can stay on the job. So there's some trickery involved here.
Right, right. It's something called the Federal Vacancies Act, and perhaps your audience already knows about it, but basically this act enables Grenell to stay for as long as the nomination is pending, and then if it fails, for another 210 days. So practically another 7 months after that. And then the president could nominate another person and so forth.
Who also might fail in succeeding. So in other words, this is what the president does. He's got a lot of acting people, and he likes them that way.
Exactly. He does. And Mr. Grenell in particular is considered to be a political hack. And the reason why people are so upset about Mr. Grenell, in part, is that he is basically going to be administering a loyalty test to all the people in the intelligence community whom the president suspects as being part of the deep state. And this review is going to basically happen, during the pendency of this nomination of Mr. Ratcliffe and maybe beyond. And grave damage could be done not only to the intelligence community, but our national security in the meantime.
Right, and here's the issue, and I want to remind people about the history behind the Director of National Intelligence and the intelligence problems that contributed to 9/11, right? There's some thinking, and one doesn't always want a Monday morning quarterback, but there's some thinking that if all our intelligence organizations had shared their information properly, we might have been able to prevent 9/11. So the Director of National Intelligence is the person who's supposed to do that. They should be the best informed, smartest, most qualified person in this country. And that does not seem to be a priority to this president.
No, and this kind of takes us to a pivot point right now, which is the intelligence community going to be led by someone who lives in the world of truth, or is it going to be someone who lives in the world of propaganda? And in the world of propaganda, truth tellers are silenced and political loyalties are rewarded. But we know what that world looks like. We don't have to look further than China and the coronavirus.
Right.
China is a world of propaganda. They silence the critics. They silence the truth tellers. And now they help spawn a global pandemic that's going to kill a lot of people, unfortunately, and hurt a lot of Americans, too.
So this is why this is of consequence, flying a little under the radar, but I think this is of remarkable importance. I'm glad you joined me tonight to talk about it. Congressman Krishnamurthi, thank you as always.